What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about tracking your estimates and tracking your jobs. Most small service-based businesses don't have a way or a system to track them at all. Especially if it's a one-man shop, person's gonna keep it in their head and think that they can remember everything. And for a while, you can do it that way. A lot of companies, the bigger companies, are going to use some type of CRM, like Service Titan would be a good example of that, which is a great program, and I know some people that use it and they love it. But if you're somewhere in the middle and you don't want to spend all that money on an expensive program, and even those programs, you don't really use everything that is designed to do. You use about 20 to 25% of it. So it's kind of a waste unless you're really in depth in the knowledge of how to use those programs. Then you really need to come up with some type of system in some way to work. And what I've developed over the years is basically a two-part system where one we call our estimate tracker, and I'll go over that, but it tracks the estimate flow from when we get the estimate to when it's completed. And if the job gets accepted, then it gets kicked over to what we call our job tracker. And these are simple spreadsheets that we created in Microsoft Excel. They'll be available for download below. And as I go through this, we're going to throw it up on the screen and kind of follow along so you can see it, because as you can see, you can't see what I'm going to be talking about by just looking at me talking. So on our estimate tracker, just to get started, we like to put on here the name of the company or the customer, if it's a private customer, that it's for, the job site address, which is obviously where we're going to be working for them, the date that they requested for us to do the estimate, their work order number or details. So work order number would be our retail customers, um, our commercial customers, sorry. They have systems like Appfolio or the Meld where their work orders are created and they have a unique ID number on them for us. So we add their unique ID number for their work order to our estimates for their sake and for ours. So if they call with a question, we can track it. This is another way for me to find out, like if there's a problem with work order number 123456, I can search it on here and find it and see where we're at with it. If it's not that type of, then it'll say like phone request or email request or referred by, so that we can keep track of who is sending how. So we know where our marketing is working, where it's not, where we should put more, those types of things. So we can track the ins and outs of where the estimates are coming from. Next would be date the client or tenant was contacted. So that would be if we got the estimate request, like this one says on the 5th, we contacted them on the 5th to try to schedule the estimate, but they were not available till the 15th, which would be the next column. Date on site for estimate would be 8/15 on this one. And then date estimate sent to client would be 8/18. Private customers a little bit different, but when you're doing property management work the way that we do mostly, we try to do them all within 3 to 5 business days. And even private customers, we try to see them within 7 days. But sometimes you're at the client's discretion, like they may not be available for 7 days. So like this one, I could only assume we did it 10 days later. That's probably the first day they were available. So after we go, which is where I just said date estimate sent to client, then we'll track the estimate number for our system. And then we have what we call a 3-day business follow-up. Then we only do that for private customers. And the reason we do that, to make sure we got the email address right, make sure it didn't go to spam, make sure if they had any questions but they weren't sure and they didn't want to call us, we're reaching out to them and saying, hey, we just wanted to follow up. We sent that estimate 3 days ago, wanted to make sure you received it. If you did, that's okay. We just wanted to make sure. And usually they'll say, yeah, we got it. We just have a question or two. And that time we can say, oh, what are those questions? Let me see if I can get them answered for you. Sometimes they'll say, yeah, we got it, but we got another price and we're going to go with them. So thank you guys for your time. And then we'll go on here and we'll write, hey, they declined it on this day. We followed up on that day. Hey, they accepted it. And when they accept it, that's when the next column comes, and that goes for date accepted. And that date will be on there so we know.
Pardon the interruption. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Tying into that, once the job is accepted, it's going to go straight over to basically the exact same spreadsheet, just a little bit different information across the top. And we call this one our job tracker. So estimates when we're trying to get the job, the sales side of the business. Job tracker, this would be the execution or the operation side of the business and how we track that. Same thing up here. You're going to have the name and the address of the customers at the top. Then you're going to have the estimate number, which should match this one coming off of the estimate tracker. And then we're going to have the same thing. So we're going to have on here, so it's all in one place, the date the estimate was sent, the date the estimate was approved, and then if there was a deposit invoice or a final invoice, the invoice number will be put back in here after it's billed. And you might say to yourself, why would you have the date, the estimate number, the date it was sent, the date it was approved, if all that information's on here? Well, this is more of a snapshot so that we can see the spatial differences between the times of when the estimate was approved and when we started the job for our, so you can look at it all in one place. But the reason that you need this one separate and you can't do it all on one is as you scale and you get larger, you're going to want to track the percentages of your estimates that get approved. So if you have a customer that sends you 100 estimates in a month, that's great. But if they approve 0 of them, they're not your customer. Obviously, your price point and their price point don't match. What you're looking for in a business relationship is not what they're looking for in a business relationship. You want to keep that number. For us, for the last 10 years, I could tell you the metric is about 42%. So about 42% of all the estimates we do get approved. And I like to know that we're close to that. If it dips below 36, 37, 35, I know we have some type of problem or issue and that needs to be addressed. Maybe we got some price creep. Maybe we got some estimate issues on our end that we're doing more than what they're actually asking for. Maybe it's a scope issue. But I know if it goes down below that 40 to 42%, there's something that I need to look at. And you can't get all that information just from what we put on our job tracker, just to tie it back. So that's the reason that we have the two separate. Once you get past that, you're going to have your job start date, which is obviously the day that we start on the job. Now, this is going to look kind of blank to you, even in the video. And the reason is the majority of our jobs, if we do 15 jobs a day, which is about how many we do, 11 of them, maybe even 12 of them, are going to be 1 day or half day handyman style punch list jobs. And they're not going to require all these columns. But the jobs that do require these, we need them so that we have the information. And those would be second payment, receive date, second payment, invoice number, first inspection, second inspection, um, if there's checks or a check-in with the customer, because sometimes customers aren't local, they're not here. So as problems arise, we've adjusted our systems through the years. And what you'll find out is some customers are hands-off, some are very hands-on. Some property managers are hands-off and some are hands-on. And some are going to say, hey, when you get halfway through with that job, I'd like to come take a look at it and make sure we're on the same page with what's going on. That would be where we would put this date so that we know when we're supposed to reach out to them or when we did reach out to them. Then the next one is going to be the completion date, final walkthrough date. Any job we do that's over 3 days or more than $5,000 gets a final walkthrough from the supervisor. So that would be on here. And then the final invoice send date, so the date we sent the final invoice, and then the day we receive payment is on here. We also offer for private customers a 7-day follow-up. So after the job is finished, we'll reach out to them and just say, hey, it's complete contracting. We did this for you. We just want to reach out, say thank you again for letting us work with you. I hope you don't have any problems, but if there are, then they might say, oh yeah, everything's great. We love it, except there's this one thing. And if the people in the office say, what's that thing? And they write it down and we are tentative and we treat them like we care about their project and we go back out, even if we have to on our own dime or figure it out or, well, we understand that you're not happy with that, but it really wasn't part of the estimate that we did. If you'd like for us to take a look at that, we can do that. We can come out and take a look at it and see if we can get that taken care of so that you're completely satisfied with your job. Whether they pay for it or not pay for it, that's just by the job kind of. But then we also have an automated email that goes out 1 year after the project is complete. That's basically just like a 1 year reach out. It's almost like a marketing tool where we just say, hey, complete contract and reaching out. We worked with you last year on A, B, and C, and we just wanted to say thanks again for working with us and keep us in mind if you need anything in the future. So the data that you can derive from these two documents alone will help you track where your company is and where it sits and how your job flow and cash flow are going to be coming and going. Like in our area right now, I was just having this conversation. My wife and I own this business together, and I was telling her that the cash flow is a little tight right now. And the reason is we're just coming off the holidays. bonuses, and then we missed about 9 days of work due to ice and snowstorms, and it kind of lags behind. So if I were to go on here and look at our average jobs that we finish in a day, for the middle to the end of January, we're way behind on what we would normally do. And because we work on net 30 and net 45 with most of our customers, that lag is catching up with us now on the cash flow side. So now we're back pumping out 15 jobs a day, 5 days a week, but we're getting paid for basically working part time 30 to 45 days ago. So this is a good way to be able to look at that and know and keep those things in mind and keep track of it. Again, both of these will be available for download below. And if you have any questions, please make a comment and let me know. I'd love to answer it. If you have something like this that you already use in your business and you have something that is better than what I do, or you think that I missed something on here, please let me know. I'd love to talk about it and love to add it if I need it, because all of us need to learn every day. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that's another video brought to you by Beyond the Estimates.